From the small town of Edenderry in County Offaly, a remarkable family left its mark on one of the most defining chapters in American history, the Civil War. Four brothers, Michael, Patrick, Peter, and James Ryan, emigrated from Ireland to the United States in the mid-19th century, drawn by the promise of a new life, but ultimately caught in the chaos of a divided nation. These brothers, sons of Bridget Walsh and Thomas Ryan, were joined by their sisters' husbands, Thomas Walsh and Thomas J. Hogan, who also played significant roles in the war. Together, these six men epitomized the struggles and sacrifices of Irish immigrants during a turbulent era. Their stories span both the Union and Confederate sides of the conflict, reflecting the personal, political, and moral complexities that the war imposed on families. Despite the divisions, their shared Irish heritage and the challenges they faced as immigrants weave a poignant narrative of loyalty, resilience, and loss. Born in 1836, Michael Ryan emigrated to the southern United States, where he settled in Alabama. When the Civil War broke out, Michael enlisted in the Confederate Army, joining Company F of the 61st Georgia Regiment, also known as the Stark Guards. His unit was involved in several key battles of the war, and Michael himself was wounded at the Battle of Monocacy on July 9, 1864. Details of Michael's life after the war are scarce, as are records of his burial, but his service highlights the sacrifices made by countless soldiers on the Confederate side, many of whom were Irish immigrants navigating their place in a deeply divided society. Patrick Ryan, born around 1817, was the eldest of the Ryan brothers. Like Michael, he also enlisted in the Confederate Army, serving alongside his brother in the 61st Georgia Regiment. Patrick's enlistment came as a substitute for another soldier, G.W. Cook, a controversial but legal practice at the time where individuals could pay others to serve in their place. Patrick's service was tragically cut short when he was killed in January 1864 during a skirmish at Morton's Ford, Virginia. His death at the age of 47 underscores the high cost of the war, especially for immigrant families like the Ryans, who often bore a disproportionate burden in the conflict. Born in 1823, Peter Ryan fought in some of the most significant and brutal battles of the Civil War as a Confederate soldier. Like his brothers Michael and Patrick, Peter served in the 61st Georgia Regiment. He was slightly wounded at the battles of Antietam and Gettysburg, but sustained a life-altering injury at the Battle of Wilderness, where he lost his right leg to amputation. Peter's life after the war was marked by the physical and emotional toll of his injuries. He died in 1866 in Georgetown, Georgia, from complications related to his amputation, highlighting the long-lasting effects of the war on its survivors. James Ryan, the youngest of the brothers, was born in 1839 and took a very different path from his siblings. Unlike Michael, Patrick, and Peter, who fought for the Confederacy, James aligned himself with the Union cause. His decision to serve the Union Army reflected the stark divisions within the Irish-American community, where loyalties were often shaped by geography, ideology, or personal circumstance. After the war, James settled in Washington, D.C., where he lived until his death in 1899. He is buried in Mount Olivet Cemetery, a resting place that reflects his dedication to preserving the Union during one of the most challenging periods in American history. Thomas Walsh, born in 1821 in Edenderry, possibly Clonmore, married Mary Ryan, one of the sisters of the four Ryan brothers. Like James Ryan, Thomas Walsh fought for the Union, though his specific unit remains to be confirmed. After the war, Thomas moved between Brooklyn, New York, and Fairfax County, Virginia, where he lived until his death in 1905. Thomas Walsh is buried in Alexandria City, Virginia. His story illustrates the often overlooked contributions of Irish immigrants to the Union Army and underscores the familial bonds that connected the Ryans to both sides of the conflict. Thomas J. Hogan, born in 1832 in Edenderry, married Jane Ryan, another sister of the four Ryan brothers. A Confederate soldier, Hogan was captured at the Battle of Spotsylvania and sent to Camp Lookout, a Union prisoner of war camp. After his release, he returned to Georgia, where he continued his life after the war. Thomas Hogan's story, like those of the Ryan brothers, reflects the difficult choices faced by Irish immigrants during the Civil War, as well as the personal sacrifices they made in pursuit of their ideals and survival. The story of the Ryan brothers and their brothers-in-law, Thomas Walsh and Thomas Hogan, is a poignant example of how the Civil War fractured families even as it highlighted their resilience. The Ryans' experiences, spanning both Union and Confederate forces, demonstrate the complex loyalties of Irish immigrants in America. Some fought for the preservation of the Union, while others defended the Confederacy, reflecting the broader struggles of immigrant communities adapting to a divided and volatile nation. For the Ryan family, the Civil War was not just a chapter in American history, it was a deeply personal journey of sacrifice, loyalty, and loss. Today, their story stands as a testament to the enduring contributions of Irish immigrants to the United States and the lasting impact of the Civil War on families and communities across the nation. To learn more about the heroes from County Offaly and their involvement in the American Civil War, visit americasoffalyheroes.com for more.